Hello and welcome to the Metapod Podcast, the Pokemon TCG podcast that revolves around the evolving meta together. Right, we're
Mhm.
we're taking Sean this journey together, almost 5 years now of the podcast. That's crazy. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, 5 years is wild. I think you commented on the pre-release stream, be like, "5 years and we still haven't met up in person."
No, yeah, 5 years and we've never met each other, which is crazy. But
Yeah.
hopefully this year, hopefully sometime
Yeah,
later this year.
hopefully in the first topic, which we'll get to in a minute here, but, like, maybe that will be the moment. But yeah.
But yeah, it has nothing to do with Pokemon, I will say. But I've talked to you a little bit this before. For anyone who doesn't know, I play the One Piece trading card game pretty heavily. I think that's a game that I really enjoy and have stuck with playing for the last year and a half almost or so. And they just announced that they're implementing a rotation of cards. So like all the cards have like just like Pokemon where they have blocks and they'll rotate
Mhm.
blocks here soon and the community is on fire right now. It's crazy to see how Pokemon like rotation happens and we're just like, "Oh, rotation, like
Yeah.
these decks are leaving, these decks are coming in, what's going to be the cool new stuff?" But it's crazy that the One Piece community I have because I put out like a YouTube video on like rotation and the updated ban list that they put out and stuff like that, and my thoughts, opinions, and stuff like that. It's crazy how many comments I've gotten or posts I've seen from people that are like, I quit, man. I'm selling out. I'm getting out of the game, whatever. Cause they're like, my cards have no value. They're dead. My
Mm.
alt arts that I built it up through my deck, blah, blah. And I'm like, chill, brother. Like, I'm sorry you can't play with the same deck that you built 3 years ago. Like, I don't know, it's crazy right now.
It is that's an interesting aspect where, um I don't know what the collector market for One Piece is. Obviously, things like the manga rares
Mhm.
have a large collector market because, they're just like the most rare.
Yeah.
But, a lot of the alternate arts or like especially things like some of the secret rares, um, Digimon has a similar thing as did Dragon Ball, where playability really affects price.
Mhm.
And so, like, even just because something's a secret rare doesn't mean it has any value. But all of a sudden, if it's a secret rare that a top tier deck needs 4 copies of, yep, that's $50 a card, right? And if you're getting like the alternate art versions, like you were mentioning, um, so it is interesting. I think that'll be a big test for the One Piece card game to sort of see how people navigate their investment in the game,
Mhm.
knowing now that cards are likely to rotate in the future. But also, it'll be interesting to see how much of a collector group there
Mhm.
really is in the card game to sort of pull some of these alternate art prices up. Like you'll actually get to see like what's the baseline for a card that you can't play that just exists for the art and the rarity and whatever.
I was gonna say, is there a manga equivalent in Pokemon? I was gonna try to give people some
Mm.
aspects on, like, prices of cards from sets.
I don't think that there is a manga equivalent. I think, you know, mechanically speaking, things like SIRs but like that's not even as rare as a manga. So,
No, so for anyone who doesn't know, there's a rarity in One Piece that is like a holy grail
mhm,
of rarities. It's called a manga rare. It's I can't remember. I think it's like 1 in 4 or 5 cases
mhm,
of booster boxes and stuff. So, like, I don't think there's a rarity equivalent. So, the last set that released about 2 months ago, 2, 3 months ago or so, the manga rare of that set, its current market price is $718 for a set that very recently came out. So I don't know what's the highest Pokemon card price of
well,
Surging Sparks? That was the last
uh,
main set.
I mean the Pikachu SIR,
Yeah, that's
but you
442.
also have the
Yeah.
Umbreon, so
Well, I
that's
was thinking
crazy.
I was thinking like main set where you can like buy boxes and stuff,
I
right? Like
suppose, yeah.
obviously there's like PRB in One Piece. If you don't know, that's like a reprint set. That's probably pretty equivalent to,
Yeah.
um,
Although the
to
manga rares from
prismatic
PRB
evolution.
the manga rares
They
from
are
PRB
they are
are
cheaper.
they're cheaper because they don't have the same texture. I've looked into this because
Yeah.
I wanna buy manga rares eventually, but anyways.
No, I do too, but I'm so far away from that. But anyways, the One Piece community is kind of on fire, and I think it's really interesting because we have rotation in Pokemon, and we've been talking a lot about rotation, whether it's on the pod or, content creators. I just watched like a 40-minute video from Omnipoke that was really,
Mm,
really good that talked about rotation, and you should definitely watch it. So,
yeah.
but maybe if you want to know about the now pre-releases currently going on now for Journey Together, Sean broadcasted a Journey Together pre-release over on our YouTube channel. There was a live stream, so if you want to go check that out on the official Metapod YouTube channel, you can either go to our channel or click the link in the show notes below if you're listening on the audio platform. If you're on the visual platform, I think that means you're on YouTube already, so go to our page. But Sean, how did it go?
It went well. It was a midnight release. I set up everything though, and I had my coffee, I had some snacks.
Dang, you're
But
dangerous doing coffee that late. I can't do
yeah,
coffee that late.
I don't know. I mean, coffee for me, like it'll wake me up. Like it's just something warm, like a warm beverage. But I have
Mhm.
no problem sleeping. Like I'll sometimes like go get like coffee or matcha like at night at like 9 p.m. just because like I want it, and I'll
Yeah.
make myself coffee and then I'll go to bed an hour later. It's fine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, but yeah, it was a chill time. It was I pulled my kit. At first, I was like, this kit is trash because so we did see, and I think Jake, you recorded a little segment after our main recording last week about the pre-release kits, right? Like the promos.
Oh, yeah, 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 the different 4 promos, yeah.
So going into it, I didn't know it was in the kit. So I knew that we had Lily's Rabombi, we had Hop Snorlax, we had
Enstar
um,
Manitan,
Ends Darmanitan, and then what was the last one? Hop and Lily and Iono's Kilowattrel, I
Iono
think.
Kilowattrel, yeah.
Yeah. And so like my thought process going in was like, oh, the kits will be related to their respective owners, right? Like, oh, if you pulled the Lilies one, then you'll get some Lily's Pokemon maybe. And my thought process too was like that means that the Hops kit is going to be absolutely broken because you're going to get like maybe a Hops bag and a Hops choice belt and like whatever. But it turns out that the promo that you get is, as far as I could tell from my deck and other people's, completely unrelated to the rest of the kit.
Mhm.
So like yeah, I got the Rabombi, which is definitely the worst in the kit. It's like this is a useless card. I didn't put it in my deck. And then I went through the rest of it, and it was the Aselgor and Noivern line basically. And like that turns out that was a really good line in my
Yeah.
opinion. But
Yeah, I think so too.
um, but yeah, I don't know. What do you think about like you went to a pre-release as well, right? Like,
Nope.
oh, you didn't. Okay, but you've
Nope.
sort of seen discussion about this maybe, but it just was so weird to me that the promo was completely unrelated. And I think that you know, spoilers of you who haven't gone to a pre-release yet, I still say go. It might be the easiest time you have finding Journey Together product for the first month, but
Yeah, at a decent price.
yeah, but outside of that, I would say, go enjoy it. But I don't know if this pre-release format in particular is that fun because A, the kits are completely unrelated, and B, there is one card in particular that is, you know, uh, it is so unfair in this format, and that is
I
Hops
think there's
Cramorant.
2.
There's
I think
two.
there's 2 cards.
Okay, what's the second one,
Hopzation.
Jake? And Hops. Okay,
Hopzation.
fair enough.
I saw someone post that they won a pre-release with Hopzation as their only Pokemon in their deck.
I'd believe it. Just doing 30 and 30 every single turn for one
Well,
energy.
you just do all the energy, and soon you're just hitting like what 270 or whatever. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
doing the 30s to set up, hit the small guys, and whenever the big guy comes, you just slam it.
Yeah. And like the odds are like, you always choose to go second because you always know that
Yeah,
you probably can attack. Yeah, I'd believe that.
so bad. And then Hops Cramorant, like you're saying,
Yeah, like so if you don't know, we did it on the review, but if your opponent has exactly 3 or 4 prizes remaining, that's the only way that the attack works. But for one energy, you do 120. Is it to any Pokemon or just the active?
No, I think it's only the active.
Okay, but
I could be
still.
wrong, but the point is that the pre-release format is starts at 4 prizes, so that
Yeah,
Cramorant, if you start it, you're whacking everything for 120.
for one
And
energy.
that's even before the stadium that you
Yeah,
could pull in your packs. That's even before the choice band or choice belt
yeah.
that you can pull in your packs.
Or maybe even the
Yeah,
Snorlax. Who knows? Go
yeah,
crazy.
it's insane to me. I think so, like, the last I played in the Stellar Crown,
Mhm.
uh, pre-releases, and that's the last one that I did. I skipped Surging Sparks, I skipped this one. Um, the Stellar Crown kits were so good. I
Mm.
feel like with the Drifblim, like the
Yep.
Drifblim package. Yeah, like the Vezuela? Veluza?
Veluza, yeah, the
Aluza and
fish.
Kofu, like, those kits were so cool. The Ladian in there, like, I feel like they were so well designed. The promo matched the kit you got.
Yep.
I got Drifblim both times in my pre-release kits, but I had Drifblim power, like, the whole time, and so it feels really weird in this one to not only see that your promo isn't the same as your kit, but I think because they went in the trainer route,
Mhm,
right, the partner Pokemon, I think it kinda hurt hurt 'em a little bit in that kind of deck building style
mhm,
because there's just not really enough cards to be able to build a Iono's kit or a
yeah,
Hops kit or a whatever kit. So I think that really hurt him in the design of this. And I mean, I didn't play any, but like I watched you guys, I watched Andrew Mahone's
yep.
one. Like it just the game sucked.
Yeah, yeah, it was
It was not
definitely
good.
there was one game I had, game 1 was fine. I had to be really sneaky where I
Mhm.
drew through my deck because I was really looking for pieces, and then I got to the point where I was like, "I'm gonna deck myself out." And I don't know if you watched that game, Jake, but I held a youngster in my
I
hand
did.
for, like, 4 or 5 turns. 'Cause I was
Yeah.
like, "I'm gonna take prizes, I'm gonna put cards in my hand, and on the last turn before I deck out, I'm gonna play the youngster so I don't deck out." And it was like that one I felt like, it was like that one little moment where you're like, "Oh, pat on the back, smart strategy. Good job, Sean."
And he
Um,
did it on stream too.
yeah. And then the second game, actually, I got Dermanitanned at the end, and so that was also,
Ooh.
like, fair enough, but my 3rd game, I didn't have Cramorant, but I did get into a Noivern early, and I was able to get my hand size to exactly the same as my opponent just by playing a card or 2, and that was also pretty gross. Not as gross
Yeah,
as Cram, but yeah.
the Noivern's really, really cool 'cause, I mean, it's the perfect Pokemon. Like, you want to include the Noivern because it has that free retreat.
Mhm.
So it's like an auto include for sure, I feel like, and especially when you're running that freaking Excelgor, right, that does hit and run, right,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
70, poison,
you
confuse, and switch, yeah.
yeah, you just switch into Noivern, which more than likely is not getting KO'd in one hit.
That's true.
So, and then you can go back into it. So, there were some cool things about it. I will say though, the amount of people both from your stream that you did, from people posting results and stuff, there was a lot of people that played against new players,
Mhm.
I feel like, or people that just started playing like with this pre-release or just started playing the game like a week ago or something like that. I feel like there was a lot of new players in this event.
Yeah, 2 out of the 3 people I played were, like, relatively new. Like, sometimes this
Yeah.
was their 2nd game ever, or, like,
Mhm.
they've been playing for, like, a week. So I do think there is an aspect of the, hype around Pokemon from the collecting standpoint,
Mhm.
getting people in, or maybe getting kids in, and then their dads decide, like, "Hey, I need to accompany my kid to a
Yeah.
pre-release, so I'll play as well because we get another kit, we get some more packs, it's fine." Um, so there is some, like, from a pre-release perspective, bleed over. And I'm sure that will, amount to people also just playing the game. So that's
Mhm.
positive for the scene, the community, if you will.
I will say do not the market value for a Journey Together booster box is $240. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Just buy the singles, man.
Yeah.
The singles are gonna be so cheap in this set in comparison. Just buy the singles. I
Yeah.
love ripping packs. I have 2 OP10 booster boxes behind like, I like opening packs, but it's not worth it at 240 a box. It's not worth
No.
it.
Because at that point, you're like, even if you're just a player and you just want to try to get the staples, to your point, like you could buy the staples for like less than half that price for all the decks you need, probably.
You could buy, like, 3 decks for
Yeah.
$240, I'm
Yeah.
sure. Even
So,
less than that, probably.
and then, yeah, like then you're just gambling with like, oh, will I pull what IRs and what SARs will I pull? And even then, I don't know if you'll get 240 because I'm like, other than the Lily's Clefairy, Hop
Yeah, I don't know.
Zacian,
We don't have prices yet, I think, at least TCG player market value wise on Journey Together yet. It's still a little too early because I don't think it's this upcoming week that the set releases. I think it's the following week.
the 28th is the
Um,
official
yeah,
release date.
the 28th. So there's still like over a week left.
Yeah.
So we don't have those yet. But I would imagine that you're right. I don't really know if besides Lily's Clefairy EX, there's going to be a card that can really kinda net you the value that you want, as much as I love the Mamoswine, you're just gonna get a Mamoswine full art or something, and then you're gonna be pissed about it. Plus, there's no Metapod SIR in there, so do you really wanna open it
Who needs
anyways?
this set? No Metapod. Just it's a
Let's be
write-off.
honest. But anyways, if you do want to go to the World Championships, the spectator list that we talked about a couple weeks ago, where if you want to go to Worlds, you do need to join the spectator interest list. And I will say that is open right now. You can register until March 23rd at 11:59 p.m. Pacific time. The link to that, I'll include in the show notes slash the description. If you want to put your name in there, it takes like all of 15 seconds to be able to do. It is interesting though, because there are different types of passes available in there. And I mean, to be honest, I've never been to a world championships. Sean, you went to DC
I did. I
or
went to DC,
Nashville?
and that was many years ago. But DC was 2019 Worlds.
Do you remember if you had to pay for passes, like a
Uh,
spectator pass?
I believe that you still had to pay to get in. Yes, I'm
Mm,
pretty sure. Obviously, I don't think it ever sold out. I can't remember if they had individual days versus a multi pass,
yeah.
but I this feels like I didn't go to Japan, I didn't go to Honolulu, so like this may be the same as last year. This does feel new though, like this idea of like single versus multi-day, and also the prices feel they're obviously higher than a regional in NAIC.
Yeah, a lot of people's sentiment was that these are higher and different than they are in previous years. And if you don't know what we're talking about, there are 2 types of passes available that you can select when you're logging in through the spectator interest list. And I think it's important to note too that you can only choose one of the options. You can't choose all of the options when you're entering yourself through the spectator interest list. It is either multi-day passes that it labels on the spectator interest list, multi-day passes for $99 or single day passes for $39. And I assume that single day passes, I mean, we don't know for sure, but I would assume that single day passes means you get the option of signing up either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, and you get to go that day, and that's it. And multi-day passes, the whole weekend. But I think for people, this is different. One, because the price increase, right? $99 for a spectator pass. I mean, eh, you're
I
going to the
mean,
world championships, you're going to a pretty limited event, there's obviously limited space. So,
it's true.
okay, $99, yeah, for 3 days. But that's different than like NAIC, which did I have to pay for NAIC
As a
a couple years
spectator,
ago as a spectator? I don't know if I
there may
did.
not be like I don't remember if you had to pay as a spectator or if you did, it was like a nominal fee of like, oh, 19
Yeah.
bucks, right? For the whole
Yeah,
weekend.
it was pretty cheap, if anything.
Cause I will say, like, I think you can make arguments for these prices based on both like people want to go so they can charge it, but also like Yeah, world championships are going to have more maybe things that are available to see and do. But
Mhm.
importantly, those passes don't cover any costs for anything. They don't
Yeah.
cover food, they don't cover your side events, because at big events like this there's always side events that you can go play.
Oh, and you wanna
Um
play at them too.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a little, I will say, cuz like you compare it to a regional and then you're like, well, regionals I think this year were what, $69 for some of them? But
Oh, I feel like 75.
they might have been. But like you could
Yeah.
say, "Oh, well it's not that much more than a regional." But when you're doing a regional and you're paying that price, you're paying as a competitor. Like, "Oh,
You're getting the playmat, you're
yep.
getting the hat,
Yeah,
right?
and
Did
you're
we get
also,
hats?
yeah, they give hats at NAIC,
I
they did
don't know
that
where my
too.
NAIC hat is actually, now that I think about it.
But like they give you stuff as a participant, as a
Mhm.
player, but also you're paying for like them to like have judges and for them to like, you're paying for facilities that
Yeah.
you will guaranteed use for at least one day, if not more. This is different. I can only imagine that there's got to be activities that you can do at these events that really are free.
Mhm.
Otherwise, like I get that people want to go and people will pay. It's basically like $99 for a ticket to go to the Pokemon Center,
Mhm.
and that just feels a little crazy.
I will say, there's also a media creator pass, and newsflash, Sean and I both got denied. So but we're
Rip.
still gonna try to go as spectators, but one of the things that I wanna bring up is or the reason that I bring that up, I probably wouldn't have told you if I got denied the spec or the
We would have
the
just been
creator
like
pass, honestly.
secret.
Yeah, secrets, haha. But anyways, I was talking to someone who is I won't say who, but, like, they're kind of in charge of, like, creators and influencers and stuff, and, they were kinda telling me, because we were kinda talking about it, and then I was like, "Oh, man, I just got the denial, dang." And they were like, "Yeah, we're really selective this year, like, it's not easy to get in, you have to be a much higher level." And I will say, like, the people that I've seen post about, like, the denials, there's, like, some Twitch partners that got denied, right? There's, like, real influencers and real big time creators, like, much, much bigger than us that are getting denied of the creator pass. So, I'm really curious to see how much of the spectator interest list is also limited, right? Because this is like kind of lottery, I have theorized, right? Where you enter the type of pass you want and they let you know if you get in or not.
Yep.
Um,
It's definitely a lottery, just like they do in like Japan, you
yeah,
know.
for entering the tournaments.
Yeah. So I think my guess is that part of it is they don't know exactly how many people want to go. And so
Yeah.
rather than have it be like, cool, the tickets are up, first come, first serve, which would be really awful for all the people that like are not there right at that moment, right? They're
Mhm.
they're probably concerned that like people that want to go and are not available at like say 11 a.m. Pacific time on a Thursday or whenever they release them.
Mhm.
Um, so I do think that in some ways, look, if not that many people actually sign up, then it's not an issue either way. Everybody will get a you can buy and it's fine. But at least this way it like recognizes that there are parents and other people who are not just like sitting on the Pokemon Center website waiting for those no ETBs to drop, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
but yeah, I mean, we'll see. I do want. I'm very interested to see what creators did get it. Because to
Yeah,
your
me
point,
too.
I'm like, okay, these have got to be some big time people. Not that we
Like
getting
I can
rejected means it's
like, I
that, but
can understand us not getting
yeah,
in,
fair
right?
enough.
Like, I get it, and I'll concede to that, but,
Yeah,
like, yeah, some, like, partnered streamers and stuff like that, I'm like, "Oh, actually, yeah, like, oh, okay." So, again, that, spectator list is going to close on March 23rd at 11:59 PM Pacific time. We'll have actually, no, it'll be closed by the time the next episode releases, so this is really your final reminder, and we'll post it in the Discord as well on that, and then next week's episode, sometime during next week's episode, they'll be sending out selection emails that week. So fingers crossed, at that point.
But Jake, next up, we talked about this. I think we definitely went into the new megas coming out. People heard our thoughts, good and bad. I did also
Mhm,
listen to an interesting conversation that Luke from Celio's network and Jake Gearhart had about megas and everything. I listened to a lot of their conversation on it, but all that to say, we do have some confirmation on timing. Um, Confirmation that yes, indeed, this will be the end of the Scarlet Violet block and the beginning of the mega block, whatever that, however long that block lasts. But yeah, the Mega Brave and Mega Symphonia sets are going to be releasing in August in Japan, which to me, Jake says that this will be our probably early October set.
mhm.
It just depends. Like we oftentimes will have like Shrouded Fable was like a special set that we got at the back end of summer. So assuming we get some kind of a specialty set again, this will probably be that set after that. So September, October.
Mhm.
But Jake, there was a couple of like extra bits of news in here. What were the extra little pieces that got people talking?
The extra bits of news that I think are really, really cool. We do know some of the other EXs that are going to be announced, the mega EXs, because of new pre-constructed starter decks that are coming in the future. It's going to be Mega Gengar EX and Mega Diancie EX, each getting a starter deck. So very, very cool. I know Mega Gengar, a favorite to many, and both of those megas actually having cards from way back in the X and Y days when they first did Mega. So coming back into those is going to be really interesting too, because Mega Diancie, I'm really curious because my personal gripes, we don't have images of these new megas yet, but my gripe of Curlia evolving immediately into Mega Gardevoir, right? In the upcoming version of Megas, Diancie is a basic Pokemon.
Yep.
Right? So, I'm really curious if it's gonna be like the old Mega Diancie, right? Where you have to have a regular Diancie and you mega into a, Mega Diancie EX, or if it's just gonna be a basic Pokemon, right? Because with the old ones, we've skipped the evolution,
Yeah.
or the other ones, we've skipped the actual Pokemon that they have to evolve into before they mega. So, could this just be a basic? I have no idea. I'll be pissed if it is.
I mean, I'll say this, Jake. Oftentimes there's a logical consistency that Pokemon likes to maintain, at
Mhm.
least within the same set or group. I I think a lot of people, myself included at this point, assume Mega Diancie will be a basic Mega. It will be a
I
basic
never
three prize Pokemon. Now, it
so
probably
dumb.
won't be 360 HP. It'll probably be
Mhm.
something like, oh, maybe it's a mega basic that's like 280. Like, I don't know. I'm not designing the set, but like, I would say like that's your downside is it's going to give up three prizes and it's going to be easily one shot by a number of cards in the format at 280.
I
So,
wonder if it's like a support kinda EX Pokemon. No idea.
hmm,
But we'll just have to wait and see, and we'll tell you all about it when we find out. But alongside the, mega sets as well, there's gonna be a premium trainer box mega that is also going to be coming out. It looks like a trainer's toolkit kind of thing where it just has a variety of different staples and packs inside of it. The picture showing, the premium trainer box EX that came out a while ago. So then, this one being the mega
mhm.
coming up.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where all these land. I think the Mega Gengar should be fun because when Gengar has a really good card in the format, it's always kind of like a fun, interesting deck, and people
Mhm.
like to play it. So personally, I'm fingers crossed for the Gengar to be good and to be playable too. So
Oh yeah. I hope I think some of the comments have said um in here that there's no Gengar special illustration then if it's going to be coming in a starter deck,
hmm,
which I wouldn't mind because I still am missing. I think it's the only Sao Pokemon card that I'm missing is the special illustration Gengar VMAX
Okay.
from Battle Styles. It's like $600,
Oh
Sean.
boy.
I cannot afford it. And it's not going down.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good shout though. Yeah, because most of the starter deck cards don't come necessarily with alternate arts. It
Mhm.
may be a card that they turn into a fancy version in a specialty set, like in the
Yeah.
the high class packs later. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, initially that makes sense that we may not get one. But we also got some additional news, Jake,
Mhm.
about you know how they I think it was like a year ago almost at this point.
No, it was 9 months ago.
Oh, okay, fine, fine.
9 months, trust, trust, trust.
It was 9 months ago that Pokemon
Yeah, I have done research.
they made several changes though. They were like, "Hey, Worlds next year is going to be top X number of players from each region, with that number being a little different for each region." Cool.
Mhm.
And so that made a lot of people be like, "Well, okay, then what about all the players who have all this CP that don't make that cut for whatever reason?" Pokemon was like, "We got you. Just wait, just wait." And Jake, we've waited, and what have we received?
We have waited 9 months for this teaser of players that will be eventually, quote well, I don't know if this is exact quote, but basically, quote, "rewarded for their hard work and dedication, especially at the local level." And so, for the 2025 season, which I think we're over halfway done,
Mhm.
of the, season, so if you haven't started yet, go on, good luck. Players who earn 200 CP, that's pretty manageable, right? 200 CP will receive a celebratory fanfare promo card in the mail and an exclusive deck box and card sleeves to use in Pokemon TCG Live. So, the celebratory fanfare promo, if you're like a promo fanatic and you're like an international card fanatic, you will recognize that name because it's the promo that's been awarded to players in Asia since the 2021 season. The artworks change year by year based on what is going around in the meta at the time. So, like, there was one year when it was Sword and Shield, there's a Crobat, Sable, Inteleon, right?
Mhm.
Flaffy on the card. There's another one, Hisuian Zorark, Bidoof, Hisuian Voltorb, Oricorio, Luminion, Arceus, right? Kind of that V Star era right there. So on and so forth. You know, every year they make a different art that is relevant to what the past year has been in the card game. And that's it. That is it. That is the 9 months that we've been waiting for, is that you can get a single card if you get 200 CP in a single season, and you get some stuff on live, which, by the way, I don't know if the live energy acceleration cards are working yet. I don't know if they've done an emergency hotfix, but my point is, you waited 9 months to hear about how you can get a single card.
Well,
A
and a
single
deck
card.
box and some sleeves.
No, because it's in live, so it doesn't count. It's
Oh, it's
just a
only in
single card.
live?
It's in live, yeah.
Wait. Oh, the
Exclusive deck
TCG
box and card
in
sleeves to
TCG
use
Live.
in Pokemon
Oh,
TCG Live. Yes.
this is
So,
yeah, I
keep in
mean,
mind, I wanna say as well, I wanna say Latin America does not get this. It
mhm.
doesn't say in the, article, but it was talked about online, and I think on, Pokemon's press release site where they talked about this, that Latin America will not get this reward.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, I this is a tough one because 'cause I'm like, you
This is
are
an L.
getting you are getting an exclusive promo. I think though that, hey, 200 CP, I know it's achievable, but it's not nothing, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know if there should have even been a cutoff. Maybe there should have been like a tiered system of like, you know, everybody who competed in more than X number of events gets this. But like,
Oh,
look, basically,
I think you have to make it CP threshold. I don't know if
Yeah.
you could do, like, number of events. You have to do it CP, I feel
I
like.
guess they do that for the stores. That's the things that the stores can
Yeah.
give away to their player base. But yeah, I mean, or at least give me a playmat as well that has this artwork on it, right? Like that
Mhm.
would have been like, can you
Mhm.
imagine like starting to collect Ace Trainer playmats every single year? Well, I'm clearly biased. I like my playmats, but a single card that is effectively unplayable, that is also not even like alternate art, like full art. Like we don't know what the art for this one would be, so maybe I'll be eating my words in like 3 months. But I do think that there's also like, hey, make it a full art card, make it really cool looking. I don't know.
I will say in here, if 9 months ago when they first teased this, right, if we had known, like, a month later, we had known right then, I wouldn't be that mad. I wouldn't be that upset. I'd be like, "Oh,
Sure.
cool.
Yeah.
I'll go get 200 CP."
Or not.
But it took them 9 months to announce this. A system that they've been doing in Asia since 2021. And it took them 9 months to say this, and they can't even send it to Latin America. They can't even send it to Latin America. They took away Latin America's stream, right?
Yeah.
They took away this promo from them. Like, what happened? It's almost like they teased that they were gonna do it, and then they forgot about it until they told an intern, like,
Did you send out
2
that press
weeks
release?
ago.
Oh,
Yeah,
dang. Sorry.
did you send that out? Yeah, like, "Oh, no, 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 no." Yeah, that's what this feels like. This feels, and especially because we are half are we over halfway through the season? We're about
We're
halfway
well
through the
over. No, we're
season.
well over halfway through the season. There's only one international left.
Oh, yeah, because you can only because NAIC is the last chance to get points, isn't it?
NAIC is
Yeah, that's
always the
in, like,
last chance. And so yeah, there's
yeah,
basically just what would that be? May,
like 3, 4
April,
months left.
2, 3 months if you include March. But like I'm also like, because of pre-releases and new sets coming out and rotation, a lot of like there's not as many regionals that are going to go on, and also
Mhm.
a lot of stores are going to wait. So yeah, there's really just like one more quarter of cups and a
Like, what are
couple.
we
Yeah.
doing? Like, what are we doing? If you didn't have 200 CP now, or were close to 200 CP now, like, I don't have any points.
Hmm.
I'm even if I quit my job and go full time, right? I don't think I can get 200 CP.
So it's like it's
I
not
just
easy to get 200 CP.
especially with only like 4 months left.
Yeah.
Like, it's so, like, what are we doing? What is this? Like, couldn't we have just skipped this year and you just wait to announce it for 2026 at this point? Like, I this would have been a lot cooler like 8 months ago.
I agree with you that like the timing is funky because if you say you're going to give something new and then a month later this is what you come back with, nobody is like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever. But also nobody is sitting here like this is what we waited for either. It's just like okay, cool. It's like a small little bonus. Because
Yeah,
before I
like,
will say, if you missed the world's invite before, you got nothing. You got bupkis. So like this
yeah.
isn't nothing.
But 200 points is not gonna get you to the world championships, I can tell you
No,
that right now. But,
no.
um, I will say though, like, also, like, if they coulda added, like, another card, like, if you get 400 points, you get this other card. Like, why did it take 9 months to announce 1 card? I'm over it. I'm so over it.
Yeah. Jake, we got one more story left. And this has to do with anti-scalping techniques that are being, you know, leaned into in different places and in different ways.
Mhm.
So there's two different places. The first of which I'll briefly mention because this is also something they do in Japan, which is in Singapore. They are going to be removing the plastic wrap from all TCG products before selling them to customers. The plastic is removed at the point of sale. So yeah, you buy any product that's sealed in a plastic wrap, and then they take the plastic wrap off and hand it to you.
Love that.
This is not that different from what they've been doing in Japan when there's like really high levels of interest. I think like there's a Pokemon Center as well that's either at the airport, I believe.
In
Um,
Singapore?
no, 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 in Tokyo.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That they also do this. Like, you buy a bunch of boxes and they don't want people buying a bunch of boxes and then taking them back overseas either. So they're
Mhm.
like, okay, we're going to take all the plastic wrap, which is like, look, if you're buying them to open the packs, whether or not you keep the cards, maybe you're going to sell the singles, but if you're buying them to open the packs like this, you don't care, right? Like it does not matter.
Yeah. Like, if I can buy a Journey Together booster box already opened and see the local card shop in front of me open it and only have to pay $140, I'd
Hmm.
probably do it.
Yeah. But that's like one thing that Singapore is doing. The other one, Jake, is here in the United States. What's going on, stateside?
So, stateside, you may have seen a lot of talk about Pokemon TCG vending machines. There are new vending machines that are popping up all over. I think there's one in Las Vegas, actually. I haven't been to it, haven't seen it, haven't desired to go for it at all. But they are now implementing little wordings that say loitering is not permitted. Machine inventory will be released periodically, and products have purchase limits on them. So, which is really, really cool. I'm sure you've seen plenty of videos and stuff where someone is just sitting in front of the machine and just doing it over and over and over and over again. So, this will hopefully give opportunities for people to, or maybe like a worker or something, that if you see someone there longer than 10 minutes, you're like, back it up, buddy.
Yeah.
Like, let's get out of here. Do something with your life. So very,
Yeah.
very cool, I
I've been
think.
hearing stories about this because they have implemented, I think, on the machines like a two products per person limit. I don't know the exact number, but like
Mhm.
a small number. Because yeah, people when these machines were first getting rolled out and the hype was crazy, people would just stand at a machine and then just do the process over and over and just empty the machine basically.
Yeah.
So it's pretty easy for them, people who create the software to say, hey, per person, you can only get two products, and then they can remember the credit cards, right? So if you try to
Yeah.
get another product with the same credit card, then it won't work. That said, there have been people who have been getting sneaky and trying to use multiple credit cards. You might, I don't know for sure, but you may even be able to use, I don't want to tell people like techniques, but like there are certain card companies that you can create virtual cards on a per purchase basis. So like every single time you
Oh,
use
I
it, it's a
didn't know
new
that.
card. So
I've never heard of that.
yeah, like there are ways to like create new cards for the purpose of getting around stuff. But then it turns into like the stores, the employees that you're talking about having to be like, and it's maybe the people behind you in line telling the store associate, like, hey, this person is trying to like get around the system by using multiple credit cards. And I've seen employees tell people like, hey, sir, you need, or you need to leave. I'm sorry, but you can't. There's a limit for a reason. Please leave. Like, but it's yeah. I like the idea of Pokemon vending machines, and I'm glad that they are starting to put more and more limitations on because God, just going there, finding somebody after it's stocked, and then just seeing one person empty the whole machine sucks.
I bet it sucks. I will say though, there was a video that surfaced, I think it was this morning or yesterday, one of the two. I was in a Costco in Toronto. I don't know if you've seen this
Okay.
video, Sean, but these people got in a fight in a, it's the video at the end of this PokeBeach article that we're looking at. It's these people got in a fight in the Costco parking lot. And I only talk about this because why are we fighting about Pokemon cards? But anyways, this one guy comes out of nowhere and drop kicks a guy. Like, absolutely comes in, jumps up, and just nails the guy in the chest, and I'm like, "Man, that was
Oh
sick."
my god,
Anyways,
it's
moving on
on
with my life.
screen. It's on screen, Jake. I've played
Oh,
it,
are
but
you
like,
watching it?
yeah, that's wild. I do not condone
Yeah.
this behavior. That is
No,
crazy.
I don't condone the behavior, but I will say that I do enjoy watching WWE every once in a while, so it was a good laugh. Anyways, but yeah, I just some, like, anti-scalping news that I thought was pretty cool.
I will say, Jake, I don't know who is coordinating their outfits, but the black the Black Hoodie Brigade is
Oh, yeah.
crazy. It's like all
Yeah.
the scalpers, black hoodies, and I'm just like, what is this? I didn't realize this was a thing. Is this just like the uniform of the scalper?
Which is gotta be really tough for me, especially because if you if you watch the video version of the podcast, I think, like, probably 7 out of 10 times an episode, I am wearing all black, you know? Whether it's my shirt or
Fashion.
sweatshirt or hat. Yeah, so it's tough out here for me, but,
Yeah, people look at you and they go,
anyway,
"That's a scalper right there." You're like,
yeah, I
"No,
mean,
buy
yeah, it's such
singles."
yeah, I'm poor. But,
Uh,
anyways, Sean, do you have anything else that you wanna talk about in this episode?
no, no, that was good. That was, I think, a good place to end it. Yeah,
Not a lot of
future
news this week.
no, no, the new set stuff, go out there, enjoy your pre-releases. They can't scalp the pre-releases, the events, so get your
Mhm.
product there. And then, yeah, I guess we'll come back at some point. We'll talk about rotation. We'll talk about, deck lists and stuff like that. So,
I
you know,
assume that next week we will probably show you all a couple of some day one journey together deck lists if you want to see them. And yeah, well, and like Sean said, we'll talk about rotation and stuff like that in the near future because that's coming.
yeah.
It'll be here before you know it. But, anyways, thanks so much for listening to the Metapod podcast, Pokemon podcast that revolves around the evolving meta. I'm Jake, that's Sean, and we'll see you later.